I was listening to a playlist I created the other day, and it was a mix of some of my favorite songs that span multiple eras. And you know what I found out? Today's songs have been getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I hadn't noticed it before, but it prompted me to do some research as to how and why songs are so short today. So I thought I'd share that with you guys, the results of my research. Now, what happened to the great introductions of songs? The brilliant instrumental solo, the bridge, they're gone. And there's a reason for that. Check the chart I'm showing now and notice the changes over the decades. We're talking about 3 minutes in 1960 to a high of, say, about 5 minutes in the 90s, and it's been dwindling back down ever since, all the way back down to maybe 3 minutes and 20 seconds as the average single today. Now let me clarify. I'm mainly talking about popular music encompassing, R&B, pop, and country. So you jazz guys, relax. Just relax. You're in your own lane, so don't get upset with me again. I'm talking popular music. Yeah. But music has always evolved with the times, reflected not just changes in sound, but also in technology, listener habits, and even industry economics. So come on with me and let's roll through the decades to understand the shift in music and song length. Let's start from the glorious 60s, the golden age of pop. In the 60s, we had the rise of Motown and pop music. American Bandstand, Dick Clarke. Songs were tight, radio friendly, and designed to be played on 45 records. That bandstand thing, if it's got a beat and you can dance to it, it was a hit. I don't know anybody who has 45s today, but these singles were kept around 2 to 3 minutes to fit that format. Think about the Supremes, Stop in the Name of Love, 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Think about the Fab Four on Ed Sullivan, right? Huge song in the 60s, the Beatles, right? I Want to Hold Your Hand, 2 minutes and 24 seconds. At that time, the songs were short for radio play and easy consumption. But as we move forward, things begin to change. So let's think about the 70s. Wow. Classic rock, expanding horizons, shag haircuts, big afros, page boys, platform shoes, bell bottoms, the whole 9 yards, right? John Travolta, in the 70s. Rock and progressive music took center stage, and artists began to experiment with longer and more complex compositions. Big bands, Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They blurred the lines between pop, rock, and jazz. Songs like 25 or 6 to 4, Beginnings, those things ran well over 4 minutes. And that decade also gave us Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, which was over 5 minutes. But it was also one of the most iconic rock anthems of all time. Longer songs reflected the desire for musical exploration and experimentation. Bands weren't just making songs, they were creating experiences. Again, Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, even the smooth string-laden soul of MFSB, that Philly soul sound. They all had a hand in creating these great experiences. And also albums, that's right, albums were in their heyday. Everybody wanted to see the latest album cover. Everybody wanted to read the album cover from front to back. Even look at the album cover while you were playing a song, right? And albums did another thing in particular. They made it easier to record longer songs versus the standard 45. They were hugely popular. Think about Mr. Shaft himself, Isaac Hayes. he created an album called Hot Buttered Soul. And it only had 4 songs on it, 2 per side, and it was deemed multi-platinum and a symphonic masterpiece. And one of the songs on that album was 18 minutes long. That'd never fly today. I'm telling you, it'd have no chance whatsoever, But that was the 70s. Now, we roll into the 80s. Pop perfection. The rise of MTV, power suits, padded shoulders, dramatic makeup. When they launched MTV, the song they played first was Video Killed the Radio Star. And man, nothing was further from the truth than that, right? I'm telling you, because music videos became just as important as the music itself. Billy Joel, he partnered with supermodel Christy Brinkley to take the video Uptown Girl to legendary heights. And artists like Michael Jackson and Madonna and Prince, they dominated the charts with 3 to 4 minute tracks, and these tracks were polished and extremely catchy. Billie Jean itself was like 4 minutes and 44 seconds, Prince, When Doves Cry was almost 6 minutes. And while these songs remain longer than today, they were still on radio, focused with an emphasis on strong, repeatable hooks to capture that MTV generation. And if the song was deemed too long for consistent radio play, the company would go back and remix it to fit that format. But no doubt, because of the impact of MTV, videos were dominant. And some of them were even short films, all to elevate that listener video and musical experience. Think of Michael Jackson in the Thriller video. That video was like 14 minutes long, And what about the soul people, right? Donnie Simpson, Video Soul on BET back in the day. That's how all the soul people got the latest soul tracks, is by looking at Donnie Simpson, Video Soul. So, but again, that was the 80s. Big dramatic turn in the 90s though. The 90s was all about musical rebellion. It was just rebellious genres of alternative rock and hip hop. They broke away from that polished slick pop of the 80s. Alt rock itself embraced a raw and unpolished rejection of the mainstream culture. Hip hop artists told their stories through the street verses, and when they could get by the censors, right, it was even better, But Radiohead, Alice in Chains, songs like Nirvana's Smell Like Teen Spirit, they ran around 5 minutes, while the concrete jungles of New York and Compton gave us Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, Dr. Dre, ain't nothing but a G thing, and those were almost 4 minutes in length. But it wasn't just about the length of those songs, it was about that content. So, how did we get where we are today? 2000s and beyond are considered the digital revolution in streaming. And with the rise of digital downloads and streaming platforms like Spotify and iTunes and so many others, music consumption shifted drastically, because now people could make their own playlists. They could easily skip songs, and the attention span began to shrink dramatically. Radio, they love shorter songs because they can increase their revenues again by placing more ads between songs. And record producers realized that if the songs were too long, the stations wouldn't play them. Now, streaming platforms, they also rewarded this shorter song because they are song-based and not duration-based. What do I mean by that? Here's the deal. It's better to have 10 3-minute songs generating royalties than 5 6-minute songs. The total amount of time between the two songs is the same, 30 minutes, but the royalties just doubled. So artists started crafting songs that were short, sweet, and designed for replayability, maximizing streams and thus in turn maximizing profit. And even more so, the impact of the 30-second clip, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, those 30-second clips count as a stream. So if that song goes viral, it can create massive profits. What about you guys, right? So next time you decide to create your cool 5 or 6 minute epic with a great intro and a great vocal and a great solo, and you've uploaded it to Spotify and Apple Music, and you've got it up for sale on Bandcamp or Reverb Nation, and maybe you started doing a little advertising behind it, and nobody's listening to it. You know why? Because shorter songs are where we are today. The combination of changing technology, short audience attention spans, the financial model, and the power of streaming make it difficult for longer songs to break through. Now, for us as independent musicians, understanding this information can prove valuable in helping us craft an appropriate strategy to get heard. Hey, check out my video on the 10-second rule in music that we used to have back in the day to get a historical understanding of shorter songs, because I think that we've actually come full circle, and that's where we are today. Not to say we're going to stay there, but that's where we are today. This is Henry Clarke, Senior Musicians Unite. Feel free to comment, and I will see you all later. Bye.